welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber 93, who asked me to play Abhorrent Oculus with Phyrexian Dreadnought, and beyond that, it was up to me what that looks like. Luckily for everyone involved, another Patreon subscriber, Harain, one of our resident Dreadnought experts, has appeared in the most recent MTGO Legacy deck dump with this blue-black Oculus version of Dreadnought combo. Dreadnought Tempo, I guess. It's not really a combo deck. It feels like a combo when you get a 12/12 for 1 mana, but then you have to attack twice. So this is more of a tempo deck than a combo deck. But not only is Abhorrent Oculus, which I think we should read for the record here, this is a Mythic Rare from Duskmourn. 2 and a blue. As an additional cost to cast the spell, exile 6 cards from your graveyard. It's a 5/5 with flying, and at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you manifest Dread. And to manifest Dread, you look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one face down on the battlefield as a 2/2 creature, and the other in your graveyard. You can turn a manifested creature face up at any time for its mana cost if it's a creature card. This thing is a value engine by itself. It has shifted the blue-black Frog Murktide list in Modern. Now there are 2 distinct camps of decks that are still playing Murktide and decks that lean into Abhorrent Oculus instead. If nothing else is going on, you get a 3-mana 5/5 that makes a 2/2 every turn. And if you have anything else going on, like Graveyard Synergy, if the card you put in the graveyard is doing anything there, that's a plus side. If you have creatures worth manifesting, like Phyrexian Dreadnought or Psychic Frog, that's a plus side. And we've got a bit of both here. Manifesting a second Abhorrent Oculus, you let you turn it up and you get another 5/5 flyer, and then you make 2 2/2s per turn, and you don't have to exile the 6 cards that way. This card is just insane pile of rate in every direction. But this isn't the only new Dreadnought enabler. We also have Curie, Emergent Intelligence, which has been out for a while. It was in the Fallout set, but it's new to Magic Online. For 1 and a blue, you get a legendary artifact creature robot. It's a 1/3. When it deals damage to a player, combat damage to a player, you draw cards equal to its base power. And for 1 and a blue, you can exile another non-token artifact creature you control, and this becomes a copy of that creature, except it has, whenever this deals combat damage to a player, you draw cards equal to its base power. This is, on its own, a 1/3 that if it connects with your opponent in combat, you draw a card. Already not embarrassing, compared to Doorkeeper Thrall in terms of a 2-drop that might have some of its own relevant game text, but then it pops off with Dreadnought. Because you can respond to Dreadnought's sacrifice trigger by exiling it to Curie, and then you have a 12/12 Dreadnought that whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw that many cards. And putting that ability on a 12/12 trample, you should be able to bury your opponent in cards after just 1 hit. These cards could be in a blue-white shell, which is where we've seen Dreadnought most recently. But you don't really need to be white anymore. The main reason to be white is the removal and Doorkeeper Thrall. And Curie is our Doorkeeper Thrall. Abhorrent Oculus is our Doorkeeper Thrall. Fatal Push is almost as good as Swords to Plowshares in the metagame right now anyway. And by being black instead of white, we get access to Psychic Frog, which is the reason Fatal Push is as good as Swords to Plowshares in the metagame right now. All this stuff tucked into a Stifle, Wasteland, Daze tempo deck. Outside of the 2 creatures, there's also still just Stifle, Consign to Memory, and Dress Down that can get a Phyrexian Dreadnought into play. And this is the first time I'm playing with Fel on the channel. I've been talking recently in my videos, generally, if a Legacy deck wants a 2-mana removal spell, they're looking at Shoot the Sheriff or Go for the Throat. And I think Shoot the Sheriff is slightly better in terms of what it hits and what it misses compared to Go for the Throat. But Fel kills anything, but it's a sorcery. This one is the 3rd one in that conversation of what actually kills the most things that matter in the format, and I'm excited to try it and see how important the sorcery is. This deck looks awesome to me, and I'm excited to play it. Let's do it. This is 93's Oculus Dreadnought with the list from Harain. For this video, I partnered with CardTrader.com, the international card game marketplace that features the innovative CardTrader Zero shipping system. CardTrader functions as your personal P.O. box, gathering your order from different sellers around the world and sending it to you in a single shipment. With international shipping simplified for buyers, the market for sellers expands too. Buy and sell Magic, Pokemon, Flesh and Blood, Yu-Gi-Oh!, as well as niche games. Find what you're looking for from all corners of the world. I made an order from a diverse group of sellers to try it out. Check out this order from America, Italy, and Switzerland. The update page makes it clear where everything is throughout the consolidation process, and once your order's in hand, they ship it out in a single package, and you're done. I used CardTrader Zero. I ordered from 4 different sellers in 3 different countries. I paid 1 shipping cost. I had 1 package show up to my house. That package had 1 CardTrader envelope in it, and that envelope had my order. All the cards I ordered from around the world in one little package with the CardTrader Zero security seal, ready to ride safe and sound to me. If you want to buy or sell trading cards around the world, try CardTrader.com and their innovative CardTrader Zero shipping system. I am on the play in round number 1. Unfortunately, going to have to mulligan this hand. It does not have a blue source. This deck has 19 lands, 4 of them are colorless, 1 of them is basic swamp. So there's 14 lands I can keep any hand on the strength of. Sucks to ship this one though. If I knew what the matchup was, maybe Fatal Push plus Force of Will is enough to buy me time to reasonably find land number 2 and then I'm fine, but I'm not going to risk it in dark. This is much better. It's got a Dreadnought with no plan for it yet, but this deck's got a lot of plans for Dreadnought. Bottom one of the Wastelands, I'd like to cast spells. Opponent just said in the chat that they submitted the wrong deck by accident to the league. I have no idea what that's going to mean, but I'm excited to find out. Okay, I'm going to put Fatal Push in my hand here and Frog on top of my deck. That way, if I get Thought Seized, I can keep my Frog. Okay, they clarified in chat that it is a real deck, but it just has some cards in it that they tested and determined were bad. Okay, got it. Main phase, turn 1, Brainstorm. That's something a combo deck that's very close to going off would do. I still think the best thing I can do is just cast Psychic Frog. My options there were cast Psychic Frog or just pass with my mana up, and I could Brainstorm and maybe Spike Force if they're suddenly comboing me out. But if they're any kind of fair deck, I just want the Frog around. Okay, we got some Bant. Oh my goodness, a Living Wish out of Bant. Oh, is this must be a Nadu deck. Gilded Drake. That's fun. All right. Opponent's on the sauce, and I'm here for it. By on the sauce, I don't mean they're an alcoholic. I mean they are brewing. I'm going to connect with Frog first. I have a couple lines of defense here. I can Wasteland them and hope they miss. Gilded Drake, all the creatures do have to still be in play. Oh, interesting. I actually think that double Fatal Push is better to have access to than Wasteland here. Yeah, I'm just going to pass and hope that opponent goes for Gilded Drake and double Fatal Push is enough to sweep it. Because to exchange permanents in Magic rules, all the permanents need to be there in order to exchange. Okay, Fatal Push now. If there's a force, I'm ready with a second push. Okay, we're doing something in response here. Emergency Brainstorm, love to see it. Do I think this deck is going to have Daze in it? Because I would like to Brainstorm. If I need to push again, I would like to Brainstorm, then fetch and push, which gives me looks at Daze. Okay, it simply doesn't matter. In that case, and I actually like most of the cards in my hand, so I'll just get Undercity Sewers here. This Brainstorm isn't even really offering me anything I'm worried about. I'm going to bin Fell. This is a spot where if that was Shoot the Sheriff or Go for the Throat versus what's almost certainly a Nadu deck, I would keep it. But Fell might not be good enough. I also do need 6 cards in my graveyard if I want to cast Oculus when I draw one. Okay, I'll Brainstorm here and see if I can make this hand more interesting. It is pretty interesting. I'm going to put back Dreadnought and Flooded Strand. Or I could stifle in a Dreadnought, back it with Force of Will and Daze for a turn, put back Push and Strand. Okay. Wasteland, Waste the Tundra? No, I think I want to take them off green. Dreadnought, Stifle Dreadnought. I think if they had any sort of counterspell, they would have used it to protect their Gilded Drake. Oh, you are a Daze deck. That's fun. I'm something of a Daze deck myself. Okay. I have Force of Will, and they have 1 land in play. And because I wastelanded Savannah and not Tundra, the Daze didn't save a land I was going after. Aether Vial, Nomads. I have Fatal Push on top of my deck. I'm not going to fight over Nomads here. I am not going to jump Frog because if Nomads just dies, that's fine. If they Vial in Dryad Arbor, that would actually blow me out here. Maybe I'm just supposed to jump Frog there. I'm not really using my graveyard. It was probably greedy. I was correct that they either would not be able to block or Nomad would die, but I could have just drawn a card and made sure Nomad died. But then I'd be out Fatal Push. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that one. They are dead on board and I have Force in my hand. Either way, let's hope these 4 cards in hand can't thread the needle. If they have another Nomad plus Nadu, all right, cool. Dreadnought doing stuff. Okay, they're definitely a Nadu breakfast deck. It may or may not be breakfast. It's definitely Nadu. I like Thoughtseize. I like removal spells. If Living Wish is their tutor, Grafdigger's Cage doesn't solve that. Consigned to Memory can counter Thassa's Oracle trigger if that is part of the game. It can also counter Aether Vial, which is a card we've seen. I don't think I'm that interested in it. I think just becoming the control role, bringing in 3 Thoughtseizes and an extra removal spell is what I want to do here. I could see arguments for Barrowglyph, I could see arguments for Harbinger, but to make room for them, I'd have to cut all the Curies and Dreadnoughts, and I do want to try to showcase that aspect of the deck, though I wouldn't fault anyone for doing that. Okay, we've both played Daze, and I'm on the draw. I'm going to shave a Daze. Let's try it like this until I have more information. Okay, a series of dope 1-drops, Wasteland interacts, Ponder. I have an opportunity here to be a cheese lord. I might take it. They did not shuffle Ponder. I'm going to go for it. Like, worst case scenario, we just play that turn cycle over again. Best case scenario, I just ruin their whole life. If they had led on Aether Vial, I would not have wastelanded there. Ooh, main phase, tapped Archive. I mean, they're playing around Stifle. They've seen that Stifle's in the deck. Oh, blind hit a Narcomoeba. Wow. That's cool. Got me with that Panglacial Worm action. Okay, do I play this Stifle? I think I just play this Tamiyo. Tamiyo gets my engine churning. It also draws cards. Giggity. I could Ponder looking for a land drop, but I don't think I need to do that right now. And Brainstorm represents a Planeswalker Tamiyo next turn if I want that. Nomad. Saga. Okay, pieces are ticking together here. This is definitely a breakfast build. Force of Will. Quite happy to see that. So Brainstorm flips Tamiyo. Ponder has more chances to see a land. I'm going to Ponder. Ooh, glad I pondered. Shuffle that. I would have been Brainstorm locked. Ended up in a bad spot anyway. I will pass the turn. At least I have Force, but now they know I'm playing on 1 land. Brainstorm from the opponent. They haven't played a land yet, but their turn isn't over. Let's see if we get 1 second main or if they're also having troubles. Okay. I have 7 spells in hand. They have 6. I think I'm just going to play Undercity Sewer and represent Fatal Push with Force backup this turn. I think that's the safest way to do this, rather than try to Brainstorm and get too clever. Abhorrent Oculus. I'm a long way away from that being useful. That's not what the game's about right now. The game's about not getting bottlenecked. They tutored Aether Vial. They're still planning on playing a long game. Interesting. I guess I'm going to Fatal Push Nomad here in response. Do I want to let them have this thing? Or do I also Force of Will now? I think I'm going to let that resolve. Because I have Stifle and Dress Down in my hand right now. That could beat a Thassa's Oracle. Even if they do Violin Nomad next turn. Land number 3. I'm in a little bit of a dicey position that I kind of wish I had just countered the Illusionist. I'm playing with fire here. Cannot afford to play Psychic Frog right now. They're also just winning the damage race with Stifle Illusionist beats. They can't go off at instant speed. They could mill their deck at instant speed, but you can't Dread Return at instant speed. So I could do stuff in the end step. I'm going to force pitching Curie. And I kind of hope they do fight back. It's interesting they didn't vial this in. It was right there. Okay. Did they have it anyway? Okay. I want to let them have this because the dress down and the stifle are sweet. This is what I played too. If I wasn't willing to let them try to combo, then I should have countered some other stuff along the way. But with the stifle and dress down in hand is what we're looking for. Oh, if they have a Cabal Therapy in their deck somewhere and a counterspell in their hand, they can cover this. But they do need 2 layers of interaction. There is a Cabal Therapy. I'm going to let that resolve, and they might name Stifle here. I don't think they're going to name Dress Down. They named Fairy Macabre. Okay. So they blew it on one of the layers of interaction. Now they need 2 counterspells in their hand or another therapy in their deck. And they've just stopped trying to combo off. Cool. We stopped them, but at least they saw it before they decked themselves. Good save. Well played. I'll draw a card with my clue. And go to my turn. Tamiyo can still attack here. Okay, now I do have bad cards in my hand. I'm going to brainstorm. And I would like to brick this offense full of 1/1s because I am currently losing to that. Okay, second dress down. I don't need 2 of those. I might need 2 stifles. I don't think I want this ponder right now. Okay, so they have access to Vial on 2. They're attacking for 0. They can mill out their whole deck at will, and they know they have to beat Stifle and Dress Down to continue play. They're at least 1 more land drop away from a Teferi. End step, I'll draw the Ponder, and then fetch for Underground Sea in my upkeep. That's pretty bad. I could kill an Archamoeba. A Tamiyo can grab Fatal Push, but I don't think I actually need to do that. I'm just going to plus Tamiyo and pass. I might have to stifle Aether Vial a couple times to keep Nadu out of play, because that's the way they could flip it on me. I'm not stifling this activation. This could be bait. Yeah, they just didn't even have anything. You can always activate Aether Vial, even if you don't have a creature to put in, especially against decks that have cards like Stifle and things where they might want to interact with you. Okay, I'm stifling this. I'm not interested in playing against Nadu yet. They saw 1 stifle. They don't know that I have 2 of them and a daze now. I think now with the looming threat of Nadu, I have to buy back Fatal Push next turn and kill Nomad. I could just edict their board. Just get an Archamoeba out of here. Yeah, I don't think that's getting better, even though I am certain it's not good. The other alternative there was to draw a card with a clue. But they're both 2-mana plays. One keeps something out of my hand, the other adds something to my hand. I'm going to Fatal Push this Nomad right now. I care less about Nadu if they can't target it. Okay, force pitching an Illusionist. Hate that for me. Okay. And Dress Down doesn't solve my problems here. I'm going to have to stifle this Vial activation again. I'm not going to stifle this fetch. That's not what the game's about. If they even have a fetchable left, they've milled like 3/4 of their deck. They do have a basic. And they can kill Tamiyo this turn. She shot her shot, and it didn't work. It did flush out a force, though. And they know they got me on the hook now. Yep, Tamiyo's going to die. They got plenty of cards in their deck to just attack me for 3 a bunch of times, or eventually put this Nadu into play. It's interesting, though, because they've milled, like, I've seen all but 11 cards in their deck right now, and there's no Nadus in the graveyard, which means that there's probably 3 of them just in these 14, I guess 18 cards I haven't seen. That's a lot of that. That's kicking around over there. I do have 3 Thoughtseizes in my deck, though. Let's try to find one. Bonder. I found one. And a Stifle I could draw, if I need to. Okay. If they reveal a hand here that doesn't have Nadu in it, I'm going to be so proud of them. I've been spinning my wheels for nothing. Okay, 3 Nadus. I was correct in that read. Orum's Chant is also lethal, though. Yikes. Yeah, if they chant me, I can't dress down. And then they can just go off. Well, I have to take a chant then. And I'm going to ponder this other Stifle into my hand. Fell. Wow, I want that a lot. Yeah, if I had seen the Fell on the first one, I would have taken Force here. That's scary and awful. Okay, pass the turn, I guess. Them having Force of Will in their hand means that I can't even actually afford to stifle the Nadu anymore. They attacked first. Now here's an activation. Yeah, I can't afford to fight over this. They didn't activate it, though. Okay, I'm drawing Fell. Do I have 2 fetchable lands in the deck? I'm going to test with 1. No, I have 1. That's what I thought. Okay, I have exactly 1. And if I Fell the Nomad, they can start flipping cards in response. Mysterium Forest is in. And here comes the spams. There's Thassa's Oracle. Swords to Plowshares. Prismatic Ending. Another Prismatic Ending. Okay, they've decided this is enough to win the game. They might be right. They have 5 damage on board, and I'm at 6. I can daze Thassa's Oracle. I think there's a good chance this Mysterium Forest can't actually get any other cards. I'm going to cast Psychic Frog. That's at least a creature. If they plow it, I can discard Pluto Delta and at least gain a life off this card that's not doing anything else. This game is theirs to lose, though. I go to 8. It just creature beats that one turn where they had it covered. Maybe I'm supposed to ponder before I Thoughtseize, just in case it changes the information, which it did. Ponder. That was one of the 2 cards in their hand I didn't know. Did not shuffle. 5 cards left over there. Discarding an ending to hand size. I need a removal spell here, something that kills Nadu. A Brainstorm. And I have to kill Nadu at instant speed also. Yikes. Okay. Tamiyo can block. I have to put 2 of these back, though. It's probably Tamiyo Daze. Or the clue can get me Delirium. Or not Delirium. Revolt. I could also play Tamiyo, and if they Prismatic Ending it, I have what I need. And then I would need to get rid of Daze Force of Will. No, I can't cast that many cards in a turn anyway. Put back. So Tamiyo will be in play. I need Fatal Push. I get 2 more of these cards in total, which means if I keep Force Blue card, I can't use the other one, and all of these are castable on their own, so I actually don't want Force here. Force is going to go back. I'm also going to be at 1 after combat with the plan that I made. Well, that doesn't work. I think I have to put back Stifle. I don't think any of this is going to be good enough, though. Okay, Tamiyo, get in. They went to their turn. I'm at 1 on board right now. There goes Prismatic Ending. I guess they just force my Fatal Push and I lose, and this actually wasn't interesting or worth thinking about at all. They could decide not to force here. And then all I have to do is target. That didn't work. Oh, did I put Force on top of my deck or Stifle? Uh-oh. Did I mess this up? I forgot that Dress Down's a cantrip. Okay, they had double Force anyway. Didn't matter. Okay. GG. So I took the aggressive route of I'm going to attack the Oracle, but then even though I did have Oracle covered, they stopped and were able to pivot onto creature mode. Fairy Macabre and Harbinger of the Seas both have text here. I actually think it's wrong to Dreadnought in the matchup. I know I'm trying to showcase the cool cards in the deck, but I'm also trying to teach people how to play Legacy. And if we are just a deck full of above rate threats and disruption against a combo deck, then why fill your deck with weird AB synergies when you could just cast Psychic Frog and removal spells? Uruguay's really big. We know they're a Saga build. I'm on the play where Daze is better. They know about Fairy Macabre. Maybe I'll just play one of those because my deck has a lot of stuff for that anyway. We've seen Orm's Chant and Teferi. Maybe that means I do want Fairy Macabre. Okay. Grafdigger's Cage is not without text here either. But I don't know that I need it. Okay. I'm just gonna, blue-black tempo. I will keep this hand and cast Ponder. First appearance of Oculus in a way that I might cast it. I did surveil past it last game. I like Thoughtseize a lot. Dress Down's fine. I'm going to put Dress Down under the land and decide how things look after that. I think with this hand, I do Daze an Aether Vial. Okay, don't have to fight over Ponder. Did not shuffle. Okay, I could fetch basic Island with this, and I don't really want Dress Down in this situation. I could also speed up Oculus. A Plow Illusionist Brainstorm Saga. I have Saga covered with Wasteland. It's Plow, Brainstorm, or Illusionist for me. The Living Wish probably represents the other half of Illusionist, so does the Saga. I do have a Daze around, and Fatal Push answers Illusionist. I would like this Oculus to stick, which makes me think that Plow is where I want to fight here. But if I take Brainstorm, they're just stuck with Thassa's Oracle in their hand as a card they have to play with. I'm going to take Brainstorm. The aggressive line would be to take Swords to Plowshares. The super safe cowardly line would be to take a Flit Illusionist, but I think that it makes the most sense across my options here to take the Brainstorm. And I'm going to get Undercity Sewers. I don't need Dress Down on this line. Fell would have been good last game, but we're playing a different game now. Tameo. Okay, that might be good enough to draw out the Plow and clear the way for Oculus. Dr. Oculus. If they fetch Meticulous Archive in the end step, I'd have to make a choice whether to strip them off white or save it for the Saga. But I didn't have to think about that. I'm just going to waste Saga immediately before it can even make mana. On a day's turn, that might matter. That also is my third land that would have cast the Oculus, but they haven't flushed out the Plow yet. Fatal Push. A Brainstorm. Okay. They found another Brainstorm. If they decide now's the time to Plow Tameo, they just turned on Daze for me. They're safe from the Stifle. Sad. Now, I am going to Daze this, and I'm going to pick up the normal land, not the Undercity Sewers, because I would like to crack this clue. Okay, we got into combat. The Plow's gone. I still have 2 Fatal Pushes and Force Blue card. Starting to pull ahead. I've resolved an engine. Hate Aether Vial, but that's not something I can afford to fight over right now. We don't have this information anymore because they resolved a Brainstorm. I have to assume Thassa's Oracle is in the deck at the very least. And I'm going to have to park the bus. I can't afford to not have all this removal up. Kept a card on top with Archive. They can produce an uncounterable combo over the next 2 turns, if combo is still their plan. I'm going to force Nadu, and I'm going to pitch a Frog to do it. I still have dreams of this Oculus. They only have 3 cards left in their hand. Cool. That would have been really bad if this resolved and they vialed in Nomad, because I can't Fatal Push here. I don't care about Shuko. I'm going to click away the Oracle, because I'm fairly confident that's not a card they have right now. I'd love a land. We did it. Hit my land drop. Attack with Tameo. Now, how much of a wuss do I want to be? Leaving up double Fatal Push, it would be really hard to actually lose this game. So I will do that. I'm just going to push this immediately. I understand that Shuko still works with Illusionist, but not as well. They'll mill 6 instead of everything at instant speed. Oof, another Brainstorm. There was 1 card in their hand before the Brainstorm happened, though. That means if Illusionist is one of the 2 cards in their hand, then the other one would have to be Orum's Chant. And even that, I can... That one's actually really bad. Well, I guess I lose. No, I can... Nope, can't even cast Dress Down because Teferi will just bounce it. Dress Down would have to draw into... Yeah, I'd have to draw into Fairy Macabre here. That was the worst card for me possible. Yep, they just bounced this and now they win. That was a good Brainstorm. This Illusionist was definitely the only card in their hand when they started the turn. Then they drew Brainstorm. Then Brainstorm found the thing that checks the Dress Down plus Fatal Push interaction I had. And that's the game. Cool. Yeah, Suffler's Breakfast just doing its thing. The Nadu angle, 1 game 2. And then the Breakfast angle, 1 game 1. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
On the play in round number 2, with a hand 2 removal spells, 5 lands. There are matchups where that's fine, but I don't know if I'm in one. There is no matchup. Oh, that's not true. There is, if I knew it was oops all spells. I mean, the extremes of Legacy, but I don't know that either. We're going to 5. Okay. Keep this bottom one of the lands, and I guess the fell. The safe thing to do would be bottom the Dreadnought. But if I find a blue card off the top of my deck here in 2 looks, because I have the Surveil, then I can have a turn 2 Dreadnought with force backup and just hope that's good enough. MTGO just stopped in their draw step. Either my opponent has draw step stops turned on, or they're a miracle deck of some kind. Ooh, okay. That's actually fine. I'll just fetch a basic island and then make a Dreadnought on turn 2. And I could still draw a blue card to make this super protected. Sad. All right, well, this better be good enough. And against a lot of red decks, it will be. Okay, they have 2 mountains in play. They pass the turn. Any blue card deck. I win if I draw a blue card. All right. I think we're set here. I probably didn't need to reveal the Wasteland, but if they know I'm a Dreadnought deck, they get it. Okay, sweet. Well, that was nice. It felt like a combo that time. We're playing against Red Stompy. Barragoyf is just a big O. Shieldred's Edict may or may not make it. We'll see how this maps out. I don't like Daze that much, especially on the draw. Dress Down might be mediocre, but it also might put 2 Dreadnoughts into play. I'm just putting maybes over here. The Consign isn't very good in this matchup. Unless they have the One Ring, then it's good. I guess Chalice of the Void. Nope, Consign is actually good. Not enough to bring in more, I don't think, but I don't want to cut the one I have. Frog's great. I don't know about Curie. I don't know about Oculus. Oculus is the type of unit that if it gets into play, it's going to be insane. But if they have Unlicensed Hearse or Ghost Vacuum, I don't know if they would have them in versus Dreadnought, but those are definitely cards that these archetypes play. I'm not going to try to Blood Moon them back. My answers to Chalice of the Void are Consigned to Memory, 1 Brazen Borrower, and casting 2 and 3 drops. I think I'm going to cut all of these cards for this extra removal and big threats. Let's try it. Okay, I have Force Blue card, access to both basics, and 2 threats. 3 threats even. I will keep. One of the threats would have to pitch to Force, but this is kind of a choose-your-own-adventure. I don't care about Chalice of the Void with this hand, which is a huge upside. Chrome Mox. Vexing Bauble. That's annoying, but I'm not going to spend Force on it. Volcanic Fissure. I guess that means I can just cast Tamiyo if Force of Will is off anyway. Let's just curve out then. They've got 3 cards in their hand. I don't care about Blood Moon, don't care about Chalice. They might not even have Chalice. I think that these decks are leaning towards Vexing Bauble over Chalice these days. I drew the Fell. Broadside Bombardiers is one of the outlaws in the format that you can't kill with Shoot the Sheriff. And this is a matchup where that matters. Oh, scoreboard, we did it. I'm going to attack with Tamiyo first. And I'm going to cast Psychic Frog off of my non-basic land. In case they do have Blood Moon, I would like them to think it matters. If I just play out the swamp, then they'll spend mana elsewhere. But if there are any thoughts to have, I want them to have them and be wrong. And if they ever draw a card off Bauble because they just need some velocity that turns on my Force, all right, you're dead. That's fine. I have 5 cards in my hand to their 2. That Red Blast turns Barragoyf into a 3/4. Yeah, they're just playing more Volcanic Fissures. Stifle. I probably should have boarded that out. What am I thinking here? Did I just forget about that, or was I just Dreadnought pilled from game 1? Whatever, I'm casting Barragoyf. Right in the barrow. I now have the biggest creature, in addition to having more cards and more resources than my opponent. They're going to have to do something mega cheesy, like the One Ring, to pull this one out. Pyrogoyf. That kills Tamiyo. It does not kill Barragoyf. That's a good target for Stifle, too. And a great target for Fell. I will fell this beast. Now I have a 4/5 to attack with. And if this connects, I get to flip 4 and maybe pick up a creature. Oh, 3 of them are creatures. Abhorrent Oculus, get in my belly. That seems like it would be hard to beat. I'm going to leave up Stifle rather than cast Ponder. I don't know if it matters, but if anything matters, it's that. I'm going to float a blue. Blood Moon resolves. My blue's gone. I'm going to Oculus their smelly face off. Though there's a good chance that the card in their hand is Hydroblast or Pyroblast because they just haven't done anything in several turns with that card in their hand. All right, backup Oculus. And yeah, I guess I'll cast this thing. They can't have 2 blasts in their 1 card hand. Oh, I was just clicking at random, but I have a Goyf in play. I actually do have to think about this. Instant, creature, land. I didn't lose any card types there. And they need a Pyroblast now, or I'm going to start manifesting Dread. Okay, which one goes to the graveyard? Fatal Push can go to the graveyard. Wait, did I do that backwards? Okay, I did it backwards. The one you click on is the one that comes into play. Yeah, if their hand wasn't Pyroblast right there, then they're probably dead. Gone! Okay, sure. Yeah, that came into play. It already caused a problem for them. It generated value, then they had to spend 3 mana to not even really answer it, and it left a bigger creature behind. Opponent's in trouble. I think their plan at this point is I deck myself with Barrowgoyf, which doesn't work, obviously, because I can just say no at some point. Brazen Borrower. That checks all my remaining boxes here. I am going to replay an Oculus. I would have to discard a hand size anyway, and I'm sure they don't have good answers to it. Okay, choose a card to manifest. I missed the second part of this line, and my brain just went, choose a card to be put in your graveyard. Just reading too fast. All right, so I'm going to manifest Undercity Sewers. Okay, they can kill my Oculus, and then I Fatal Push their creature, and then they die. 4 is a big number, but it's not bigger than my Revolt. And Barrowgoyf wins the Goyf Mirror. Okay, that was a pretty smooth victory, brought to you by having bigger creatures than the aggro deck. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I am on the play for round 3. I'll keep this hand. Island Ponder, right? It's a little worse than Island Ponder because it's non-basic. If the Ponder doesn't find a land, we might be dead, but Ponder is really good at finding lands. As proven here, no problem. There's a Fatal Push and an Oculus coming next. I don't really want another Oculus, but that's what Brainstorm is for. A Bayou. Interesting. Are we storming or depthing? I'm going to let Ritual resolve. Dazing the Ritual probably would have been the safest way to play his turn. But do you take me for a coward? All right, I'm going to force this Thoughtseize pitching the Oculus and hope that they play into Daze. Now I might want that Oculus. That's 2 cards down, and I don't think I want the Fatal Push. Maybe they'll just play Vampire Hexmage and pass the turn. That would be great. We're experiencing the greed versus safety payouts of letting Dark Ritual resolve versus dazing it when you still can. Because now I had to force Thoughtseize, and if they don't play a 2-drop here, I'm in trouble. All right, probably in trouble. Vaxing Bauble. Well, they probably should have played that first. All right, so they're going to Entomb an Echo of Eons here, and we're going for a spin. This was a very good turn. I guess I was supposed to daze the Dark Ritual. And you called me a coward. Okay, drawing for turn. I can hardcast Daze if I leave some mana up. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pass here. They didn't send it last turn on the Echo, probably because any zeros they draw would be countered by their own Bauble. And if they wait to cast Veil of Summer before the Echo, then their turn is very safe. And they can cast spells into their own Bauble. God. This shit again? Resolves. Still not a coward. My deck with Stifle and Consign to Memory in it is actually weirdly uniquely suited to playing this game in a way that is functional. Check out that Stifle, baby, we're in. Like, I can play through a Vexing Bauble and beat a Storm opponent in a way that they might not be ready for in game 1. We'll see how it plays out here. I'd certainly feel better if there wasn't a Bauble in play, though. Thoughtseize, no! My great secrets. The Stifle is so sick here, because not only can I stifle the Tendrils trigger, but I could force something and stifle the Bauble trigger, and actually Force of Will underneath Vexing Bauble, but now I can't do anything. I guess what I could still do is hope that their Echo hand is kind of mid, or that they have to Echo again and get me another set of looks at my meaningful interaction. Having 2 Bayous is interesting, though. This is some sort of unconventional Storm build. I don't believe the Epic Storm has had 2 copies of the same dual land in their deck for many years now, and the Epic Storm, I think, is the default standard for how to play Storm in Legacy at any given time. Oh, my frog's gone. Okay, cool. That means that they are trying to play a longer game here, or they're just going to reanimate my frog if they are a reanimator deck. If they don't care about Stifle, that means their hand is bad or it's insane. Okay, now Stifle means I can't Force a Will because I'd have to stifle 2 things. Okay. I'll stifle the Storm trigger. They knew I could do that. Or they saw it. Maybe they didn't know I could do that. Is it possible that a Storm player doesn't know that that's an interaction that exists? I don't think so. I'm just going to start Wastelanding. They got 2 cards in their hand. That was kind of an ugly little Tendrils into a Stifle last turn. I need 6 cards in my graveyard before I could play on anyway. They're chucking baubles. That's great. Any LEDs or Lotus Petals they're holding right now, they're going to be stuck with until they can clear their own bauble. Ooh, that's good. Okay, B-Storm. Consign to memory. Okay, this rules. Put back Island and Flooded Strand. Wastelandia. I will be able to cast Oculus next turn. My fetch land will be card number 6 in the graveyard. Opponent is currently locked out of their own zeros with their own card. If I cast Oculus and they can go off here, I'm in trouble. I'm gonna risk it though. I would like to start winning this game, and I'll probably win pretty fast with this thing in play. Please don't kill me right now with your 6 cards. Oculus trigger. It doesn't matter. These are both mostly irrelevant cards. So dress down under there. We'll know right now if we've won or lost. I could have just played it safe, left up Consign to Memory, but I decided to put them under some pressure instead. Urza Saga. Could sack the Bauble and unlock zeros, but that opens up my Force Blue card. That doesn't cast Dark Ritual or anything like that. Cool. We're doing it. They're going to be dead real fast. I can bounce the Vexing Bauble and then force a bunch of times. I could Consign to Memory a Storm trigger. I could force and then counter the Bauble trigger with Consign to Memory. Hey, ba 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 ba. We've got a Phyrexian Dreadnought under here. If I don't die this turn, they're in for a nasty surprise. I like the art on the manifest. It's like, who's that in the spooky tooth door? It's Phyrexian Dreadnought. That's the last thing I'd want to see coming through a spooky tooth door. Urza Saga. Okay, another one of those. The first one didn't do anything. I hope we're safe here too. Should I bounce this Vexing Bauble in the end step? I think so. If I can force multiple times on my next combat step, I don't know how I could lose ever. Yeah, they could draw a card to fizzle this. I don't care about that. I don't need Brazen Borrower. I need Vexing Bauble out of play. If this was Disenchant, you'd just draw a card and move on, but there is actually the interesting decision of, do they want this in their hand to redeploy next turn as protection, or do they want to cash it in for a card right now? And they went for keeping it around. It's a shame you're dead, or else that decision would have been interesting. Attack. Surprise. 12-12. We did it. Okay. It just took fading an awkward echo, but the Stifle was relevant. It didn't win me the game, but it did save me. Was that 10 damage and them gaining 10 life? Thoughtseize comes in, Grafdigger's Cage turns off Echo of Eons. Consign to Memory, good against Storm and Saga. Harbinger of the Seas, good against Saga and Bayou. I don't think I need these Fatal Pushes in at all. Fell can come out. I think this is another matchup where it's actually just correct to cut a bunch of Dreadnoughts. Because it's not about killing them fast, it's about lining up your answers right. And Tamiyo and Curie, this is a matchup where the opponent won't have creatures to block, so Curie is just an Ophidian. That's kind of good. And it's blue, pitches to force. Yeah, I'm just going to make this pivot. And there might be those of you at home thinking, like, that's a cop-out. You were asked to play a Dreadnought deck, and you boarded out Dreadnought in 2 out of the 3 matches. But this is how Magic works at high levels. You beat your opponent with one plan or show them one thing, and then suddenly your deck doesn't do that thing anymore, and you reduce your likelihood to have a series of cards that don't line up with your opponent. Their thought seizing me. I'm going to let it resolve. They can't take me off Force Blue card here. They'll probably just take Ponder and leave it, so I have to draw naturally. A Brainstorm is a big game. I'm just going to Wasteland them and let them think that that's the best I can do. Storm deck's not necessarily known for playing a high land count. LED resolves. Vexing Bauble, smart. I should probably get in the habit of forcing those. I just hate doing that so much. Okay, Polluted Delta, pass. I have 2 cards they don't know about at this point. Saga. I definitely should have played Flooded Strand, though, because that would let me hold back the option of fetching Basic Swamp in case I draw Harbinger. And my plan is to fetch Undercity Sewers this turn, basically no matter what. They're probably going to Echo right now, though, because they just besieged without Bargain. There's a card in their hand of their choice, and then one random one. Curie. You are just a bad Psychic Frog, unfortunately, at this point. Consigned to Memory, I don't hate. I will pass. This actually, as we've discussed, can counter a Storm trigger or shove a card through shove a Force of Will through Vexing Bauble. Big game. So they have a Vault of Whispers. Wasteland is a good find here. I don't need another Psychic Frog. I don't think I need this basic island. I drew the Swamp. Found that all natural. I'm just going to rip off Urza Saga here. There are some dress downs in my deck that can tangle with that. If I play Psychic Frog, it does kind of put them in the spot where they have to do something, but it also taps me out of Consigned to Memory. I think I can take 4 for a turn to make sure I don't die, and then I could play Frog next turn and be willing to discard a bunch of cards. Because it's possible they besiege the mirror for Vault of Whispers just to make their Saga plan stronger. But if they didn't, that means they have some second wave available over there. I'm at 14. Daze, not super helpful, but I could feed it to the Frog, which actually is pretty helpful. If I discard Curie, Daze, and Force, then I still have Consign in my hand, and I win the combat. Or I could take another 4 and gas up with my Frog and keep this Wall of Blue interaction up. Because having Consign up is fine. Having Force up that I could shove through with Consign is better. And if they think I'm willing to just discard 3 cards to beat the construct, then maybe they leave it back. Yeah, I'm not going to block if they attack. And if they don't attack, I'm going to jump my Frog and draw some cards. Okay, no attack, no play, no land drop. Hand is 4 spells. Harbinger. I've been talking about this for a while, and now it's here. I am going to jump my Frog. I'm going to exile 3 lands, because if Echo of Eons happens, those are the cards I don't want in my deck anymore. Do I want to push damage by discarding Curie? I don't think it's time to push damage yet, because every blue card matters a little bit right now. Yeah, I'm just going to pass with 7 in hand at this point. If I drew a land, I would have played Harbinger. Oh, party's over. Here we go. They cleared a bauble. Now everything's live. That probably means they're going for it this turn, whatever it is. Thoughtseize. I'm going to force that pitching the Harbinger. Probably should have pitched Curie. I've been sitting on Curie the entire game, talking about how it's a blue card, and then I pitched Harbinger this season instead. I'm very smart and good at this. Chrome Mox, Lion's Eye Diamond. Construct is up to 5/5. It would be wild if they can deal 13 with that construct this turn. Pitched Elvish Spirit Guide to Chrome Mox. 5 damage in. Dress down. That's my answer to their card. That's lucky. I will just attack with this Frog then. Another Frog, and I will just pass the turn. If I dress down on my own end step, it doesn't build Storm for them. Maybe that's better, but if they do something that maybe they wouldn't otherwise, like play out a Lotus Petal this turn just to make Construct bigger, when in the future it would also build Storm, If they just go to combat, though, I would have wished I did it in my own end step. Go to sleep, you big robot. Power down. That's gone. I drew an Oculus. That's a big clock if I'm willing to tap out for it. Bunch of mana in the pool. If they cast Beseech here, I'm going to daze it. And then they have to sack the LED to pay for daze, and then they're empty and force is lethal. They daze that. Okay. They have committed to the daze. There was Echo in their hand. That means if I force this now, they will not be able to cast that Echo this turn. And they don't currently have access to do it next turn either. They are hellbent. If they find a blue card, or a blue source of mana, or any artifact, they can cast Echo, which is actually super annoying because my current interaction I'm holding doesn't beat that. I guess I could counter an artifact, so I'm good on an artifact. I'm bad if they just draw, like, off it. Nope, fetch land, stifle. Okay, I could counter any artifact. I could stifle any fetch land. They'd have to just, like, rip Underground Sea here. And I'm not going to need two pieces of interaction this turn. Either I counter an artifact or I stifle a fetch land, which means I could play Frog, but I can't afford to play Oculus because I do need 1 mana up. Oh no, they solved it! All right, I was about to say an artifact land actually beats it, and there it is. Okay, I'm going to discard my hand to the Frogs because my hand's about to disappear anyway. And I'm also going to exile cards I don't want to see in the Echo pile to these Frogs again. And the artifact land, it had to be that. Good stuff. We're getting a game. Okay, exile the lands. That's for sure. Every blue card has some value, but some less than others. Like Oculus, Curie. Don't have a lot of faith in Daze here. I'll leave Daze in the pool. Dress Down can go. And Forces definitely stay in. Stifle and Consign definitely stay in. Brainstorm, Ponder, Daze are 3 things I could get rid of here. Okay, Brainstorm, Ponder, Daze. All right, my Frogs are big. My Echo pool is as juiced as I could let it be, and I drew 0 interaction at all. Well, that Vault of Whispers might be the end of me. Lotus Petal. Vexing Bauble. Okay, well, the jig is up. I can't pretend I have anything anymore. But if they pass, they are dead. Oh my goodness, they're passing. Well, that's good news. I have 7 power in play. If I discard my hand, I can have exactly lethal. 7 plus 8 would do it. And that's what I'm doing. If they have a fatal push, they win. It's probably safer to Thoughtseize them or try to reduce their resources. Even if they kill one of these, they can't get both of them. And I will draw a card to continue playing the game. Okay. GG question mark. Yeah! All right, that was a crazy game. Both of the games I won involved them successfully echoing with protection and then not being able to convert it, which might be a luck issue, might be a deck building issue. Like, I don't know what this build of Storm is. It is different from the kind of solved shell. They might be messing with some stuff, or they might have just ran bad. I'm not sure. But we did it. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. If you're having fun, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can order it all in one package from cardtrader.com. Use code BoshNRoll for 5% off your first order. I am on the play in round number 4. Been pretty good on die rolls this league. I'm going to keep this. This is my first turn 1 Stifle. Prismatic Vista might also throw off the Stifle sensors. Stifle's not that big of a part of the metagame right now, but super tight, and in Franchise Legacy players always think about it. But Prismatic Vista plus Stifle is not that normal. Vulnerable to 5, that's a good news for someone with a bunch of resource denial nonsense in my hand, and an Ophidian. Mountain, that might be bad news. Vexing Bauble, oh no. Okay, so this is Red Stompy on 5 cards. I mean, this Vexing Bauble might win it for them, actually. I'm probably just going to fetch a swamp and play Curie this turn. Okay, they may have solved it. I'm going to fetch basics in case Blood Mood's coming. I'm going to place Curie. If I get, like, Ruby Stormed here, I probably wasn't going to beat that anyway. But everything gets better with an Ophidian in play. Yeah, Basic Mountain, Vexing Bauble. We've been playing against a lot of Vexing Baubles this league. Have people figured out that this card is good? Babel. I would have liked to stifle that. Shit. Bad news, everybody. So this is probably Painter then? Tameo. I like that one. I'm going to try to brainstorm though. I got some bad cards in my hand. Bad news. This did not go well. I'm going to Wasteland this Ancient Tomb. Try to screw what I can. Fetching this Swamp was bad news though. Especially knowing that they're Painter now. If this was Underground Sea and I had Stifle up or was able to play Tameo here, we're just playing a different game. But if they attack me to get a treasure, that unlocks my bonus draws every turn. They wisely printed Curie, that it draws cards equal to its base power. That's really interesting. As Glenn, the Walking Dead card, draws card equal to his power. Oh, they did have a Blood Moon. Played around it. And they didn't want this to be a combat trick commander. They decided to stick with just you get the one or you copy something and that's how you get more. I'm blocking. If they have a way to deal one, they got me. I'm not taking two for free. Caves of Chaos Adventure, my goodness. Okay, that came out of a Simian Spirit Guide. Okay, my plan to Brazen Borrow the Goblin Shaman this turn, not going to work. I do get to bounce Caves of Chaos Adventurer, hit with Curie, take the initiative, get an island, and draw a card. This does not solve my problems, though. I have one basic land in my deck to tutor here. The cool thing with these triggers is they control the initiative trigger, so it happens first. And I do want to search for the basic before I draw a card. And I could not do it the other way if I wanted to. The sad part about this game is if I had dazed the Vexing Bauble, then they either wouldn't have Vexing Bauble in play and I would have been able to daze the Caves of Chaos Adventure, or they would have used their Spirit Guide earlier and then wouldn't have had it in that spot to get the adventure down in the first place. But I only had one daze at the time, and using a daze, setting myself back a land to turn on the possibility of future dazes doesn't seem that good to me. But it turns out it would have been good here. I drew another land. That's actually good. I could Stifle or play Tameo. Because they have an attacker, I lose the initiative anyway here. I could Stifle the Fable trigger and then they don't get the 2/2. How do I think I'm actually going to win this game? Is it going to be drawing more cards with Tameo? Or is it going to be like ripping a removal spell at a time where it's really important? Yeah, I think I'm going to play Tameo here. Tameo does stop me from losing the initiative. Okay, great. I was like, it's a foregone conclusion. There's nothing I can do about this 2/2. I can play 0/3. I still lose the initiative to the cast, but they don't get a double initiative blast this turn. Because if I don't play Tameo, they could attack me, take the initiative, play Caves of Chaos Adventurer, and then get another initiative trigger and be 2 rooms into the dungeon. They still have to attack here to get to 4 mana. This game we're playing is a beautiful study of Vexing Bauble, just really showing what this card's about. That was basically Mind Twist, him to Turok, just obliterated everything I was doing. They're venturing into the dungeon, targeting Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Drew a 3rd daze. Yuck. Well, that sucks. A Dreadnought would have been a great draw here. I could try to dress down into Dreadnought, but I think I need to dress down on their turn just to even remotely play this game. I can attack with Tameo and crack the clue right now. Or is it better to end step the clue? There's no sequence of everything that I want to do here that actually does what I want. Okay, I'm just going to pass the turn. They get to trap me in the upkeep. I go to 12. I can dress down in response to reflection activation. I'm in the trap. My bee's in the trap. Normally that's a good thing. Right now it's not. I guess I could have stifled that, but I'd rather stifle the Throne of the Dead 3. If we're still playing somehow fair 1-for-1 Magic against the initiative 2 turns from now. Okay. This is where I dress down. Should save me a bunch of damage this turn and an initiative movement. I don't think this thing will have haste. I hope not. Yeah, okay. I was correct. Sometimes layers surprise me, but I mostly know what's going on. They don't get a treasure token. I can chump block the 7 damage. They don't flip any cards. Oh, wow. If they're cashing that in, unlocking this triple daze in my hand, that's all kinds of interesting action. Well, that's less interesting. Okay, that's not what I'm doing here. Not the plan. They're going to attack for 9. Oh, wow, they left 2 back. That's lucky. Oh, right, because I guess I could just take the initiative. This gives me the option right now to brainstorm and see if I could come up with something. Or I could just take 7 and try to high roll. I could chump, eat my clue, keep my brainstorm. Because if I brainstorm... Oh, wait, there's dress down, so Tamiyo doesn't even flip here. That's great. That means I'm just going to brainstorm. Oh, God. All right. Well, that was a bloodbath. A completely unhelpful bloodbath. Okay, I don't think I can win this game anymore. I needed to find just one remotely relevant card ever, and I didn't. A Stifling Dress Down doesn't save me here, because then it would just die in my end step. All this free permission, just mind twisted out of my hand by a little 1-drop. Okay, Tamiyo's going to attack. I have to shuffle away that daze from the top of my deck. Attack with Tamiyo. Draw a card. Psychic Frog. Is it too late for you? Frog can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. I have more faith in that than anything else that's going on here. Okay, they get to go into the archive and draw a card. I could stifle the reflection activation. They got 4 cards in their hand. If any of them do anything, I'm in so much trouble. Caves of Chaos Adventurer gets a flip. Okay, gotta stifle this. I can't deal with the copy, even if I stifle the initiative gaming off the copy. They're still tapping mana. I have bad news for everyone who's me. They're casting a 7-drop. Oh my god, why is there 7 mana in the pool? What are you doing with that? Stop. Is this just Shatter Skull smashing to kill my Psychic Frog? X equals 5. Wait. 2 plus 4 is 6. This is still alive. This doubles at 6? Yeah, okay. So they were 1 short of doing the full Monty here. Okay, my hand of useless cards is gone. They can attack for 9 here. I can't block the Goblin Shaman because my frog would die. And they have 1 card in hand and a treasure to work with. But I do have Psychic Frog clapping back, taking the initiative. They get a Caves of Chaos Adventurer flip here, but they don't have mana to cast stuff. They've used their land drop already. Okay, please don't hit some insane card that matters here. Fable, I don't think they're going to be able to cast that. I go to 2. All right, this is what we get. I'm at 2. Time to turn it around. Miracle mode. I think I've drawn all the bad cards in my deck already. Let's find some good ones. Force of Will, not it. Okay. Tamiyo is going to flip this turn. So I'm just going to attack. I get to go into the Lost Well before I draw a card for Psychic Frog. So that is the correct order of operations that I'd like to see. Lost Well. Find me some good cards. Fatal Push works. Phyrexian Dreadnought does not help here. A bottom top. I draw Fatal Push. They're still about to go into the Throne of the Dead 3, which is a huge problem. I'm going to draw with my Clue token, which will flip Tamiyo. Plus Tamiyo. Ponder still works here. If I find Stifle. Oh, a Tamiyo to block. Wow. Okay. I don't really want these cards, but Tamiyo does play Forest Wasteland Tamiyo. No shuffle. Play the new Tamiyo. Fatal Push. The Adventurer. My Clue left the battlefield this turn. They can attack me down to 1 this turn. With what I could see, obviously Throne of Dead 3 can cause a lot of chaos very quickly. Imagine the same game if one of the 5-3 spells I drew after they resolved Vexing Bauble was Psychic Frog at any point before this turn. Okay. So they are going to attack me down to 1 and enter the throne. They drew a card off Vexing Bauble before combat. 2 cards in their hand. Any haste creature, I'm dead. Broadside Bombardiers does it. Good chance I'm dead anyway, but Psychic Frog is very stupid, so we'll see what happens. No, that doesn't matter. Those are 1/1s. Tamiyo, hard carry. Let's go. Irrelevant. That was mana not spent well. Okay, I'm still going to 1, and they take the initiative, but that was a window where I get to do stuff. And I have exactly 8 damage on the board. If the Throne of the Dead 3 finds something that doesn't fly and doesn't deal 1 damage to me, I'm actually going to win this game. This is crazy. I guess Graveyard Hate would also blank me because I need the card off Tamiyo to get to 8. Okay, block. I go to 1. We're in the throne. Fingers crossed. 10 cards revealed. Fury doesn't do it. Magus the Moon doesn't do it. Rabble Master, Caves of Chaos Adventure, Simi Spirit Guide, none of these do it. Fury could kill Tamiyo. That actually does beat me. Oh, they got that instead. That 1 card in their hand better be a card that wins the game because that doesn't matter. I think they had to get Fury and deal damage to Planeswalker Tamiyo there. If they have 1 unknown card, all of this is contingent on that being blank. Holy smokes. Psychic Frog ruining another game of Magic. Another perfectly good game of Magic. Okay, Tamiyo, return. I guess I'll grab Fatal Push. It doesn't really matter. Jump my Frog. I may have miscounted. I actually have 9 damage, not 8. So I didn't need the Tamiyo. The Fury doesn't save them. We got the GG in the chat. Let's see if it was a bait GG or a real GG. A 1. A 2. And I'm actually going to crack my clue and discard something that's not Fatal Push here. A 3. 8 damage. Wow! Wowie! That was a great game. I thought we had them when they mulled to 5 versus my Stifled Days start, but then they ended up doing what they did. That is, oh my goodness, what a game. That was sick. Psychic Frog. The hero we needed, or just so stupid that it can win a game that you've certainly lost. All right, well, we're doing red stompy things again. This is a matchup where I like Phyrexian Dreadnought, and I could shave these cards. This is what I did last time. It still makes sense. Stifle was the card that I identified after sideboarding that maybe I should have thought about, but Stifle is my fastest route to Dreadnought, which is an insane trump in this matchup. And if they're on Vexing Bauble and not Chalice of the Void, then Stifle will remain good against the whole initiative business, Broadside Bombardiers, the Fable. Yeah, Stifle actually has a lot of game against the current configuration of this. All right, big idiots, better counterspells, and let's do it. This hand is mid. It has the Frog, it has Island Ponder, but it's on the draw where Blood Moon has already punished me. If they get the initiative on turn 1, it's already too late. If they have a slow hand that just leads on Vexing Bauble and passes, this hand's actually good. I'm going to keep this. If they just send it on turn 1, I would have to mull to Force of Will to stop that. And if they just play Vexing Bauble, I'm going to be pretty stoked. Hell yeah. We did it. Solved the problem. Partially solved the problem. Okay. Now I can leave up Stifle. That could make a lot of their plays worse, or I could just play Tamiyo, which will make my future plays better. I'm going to play Tamiyo. They can't pitch a Fury here because of their own bauble. I guess if they introduce the initiative this turn, I'd be pretty worried about that. They would need Ancient Tomb Spirit Guide to do that. That's perfectly reasonable to do, and they kept the 7, so their hand's probably good. If they just play Fable or something this turn, I won't be too upset. But I don't think holding back on weird conditional interaction is how I'm going to beat Red Stompy on the draw who kept 7. Opponent just apologized if they're playing slow because they're watching Transformers Revenge of the Fallen on their second monitor. A very specific explanation for a thing I wasn't worried about. No problem, opponent. Enjoy your movie. Okay, they Simian Spirit guided out a Cursed Mirror. So they can attack, make a clue token, and then turn this Spirit Guide into from a temp mana source into a permanent one. Okay. Not bad. I'm going to block. That'll show you. We can touch butts. What if they Blood Rushed Rubble Bolt Maka there and just blew me out because I blocked? I would have done a victory lap on their behalf. Okay, I'm going to attack with Tamiyo and then just shove Psychic Frog. Basic Swamp, Psychic Frog. The Basic Swamp's a little risky because my whole hand is full of single pip blue cards. But if I can ignore Blood Moon, I'm happy with that. Though, do I care about Blood Moon? Would they have played Blood Moon last turn if they had it? Is Blood Moon still in the deck? How bad is a swamp versus a mountain? if they do have Blood Moon. Like Mountain casts just as many spells as Swamp does in my hand, because I'm playing Frog now, and then my hand is mono blue. I'm actually just going to get Underground Sea. Because they can't really just play Blood Moon into an active Psychic Frog. They have to deal with this before they get to do anything else. And this puts them in the position where if their hand is like Caves of Chaos Adventurer and Red Blast, they probably have to Red Blast this turn, or else they just have the bigger creature and the initiative. And like I said, the sea is the same as the Swamp in terms of casting the spells in my hand. Deals 2 damage to a creature. That's never going to work, and I think they know it, so I have to assume there's some sort of follow-up. Okay. Stifle basically just countered dead. It's a fun way to play. And gone. Okay, so they stacked a dead on top of a gone to get an extra card out of my hand. That is legal. Okay. They said they love playing Thoughtseize in red. Yes, it's closer to Raven's Crime, but sure. Got a Stifle out of my hand. Cool. Now I can play Frog and leave up a piece of interaction. Another clue. This can also fetch another island if they draw a Blood Moon, which I'm confident they don't have at this moment. There's 1 card in the hand over there. Okay, Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Do I want nobody to have the initiative ever? Or do I want to take the initiative after they introduce it? I think I want the initiative. If they tutor a mountain and then use it to cast Red Blast, that will be a little annoying when I could have done this, but I can slam take the initiative, they slam back, I stifle them getting the initiative back, and then I just hold it with my stifles for a while. I think that benefits me over time compared to not doing that. Okay, I am going to fetch the Undercity Sewers here for the selection. Basic Island. That's so annoying. I guess it's fine. Because when I take the initiative, I can tutor the Swamp. I do play 3 basics. All right. I'm off it. I'm not raging anymore. I was briefly raging. Okay, attacking with my 2 fellas. Draw the first card, get the initiative, search for the Swamp before the card draw. If I find a removal spell or a bigger creature right now, that's a bigger creature. Okay, basic Swamp, Psychic Frog. Do I want to flip Tameo? I think I do. Force of Will, Abhorrent Oculus, Barrowgoyf. These are all bangers. I'm going to put Force of Will in my hand. I know that I can't cast it right now, but I'm hoping to put them in a position where they have to sack their bauble. Okay, pass. They do not have the initiative. They're not going to get it. I can just discard 4 cards and have the bigger creature. And even if they do have another gone, we see the flip first. They flipped a Fury. That actually is a little annoying. They're attacking Tameo, so they're not even going to get the initiative here. I could just let Tameo die and play around this Fury. I would have to discard 3 cards right now to beat this. Oh, I can Stifle Fury. Yeah, this is fine. I'm going to block. Discard Curie, Island, and Force. I know I can hardcast Force next turn. I just don't think I need to. The Tameo trigger saving me lots of pain here. I could also just stop now and let this Frog trade with Caves of Chaos Adventure. I don't think I want to do that, though. I would like to beat it. Because I'm going to have to beat a 3-3 Fury. Even if it doesn't kill anything on the way in, it's still a 3-3 double strike. They have 5 mana. Okay, Fury enters. They'll probably want to try to finish off this Frog. I don't have enough cards to save it. Wink, wink. Okay, they're still valuing Tameo over the Psychic Frog. I'm going to stifle that. Now I have to beat Fury. I have a 4-5. I have the initiative. I'm going to forge. Just going to forge onto my Forg. There's the Barrowgoyf. They have 2 card types in their graveyard, which means if I exile my whole graveyard to make these frogs fly, my Goyf is kind of small. I could use Tameo to get Ponder, cast Ponder, see what's going on. I know Oculus is the top card in my deck. I could also just attack with the Psychic Frog, see what they want to do. I also have 2 more cards in the form of blue tokens. Both of these just beat Fury. I think I'm just going to attack without jumping, because I'd love to cast Oculus here. And if I can just hold the initiative, yeah, they're not even blocking. Perfect. We get it all. Say it with me, class. Psychic Frog is stupid. Okay, Oculus is certainly cooler than Barrogoyf, but Barrogoyf's probably better. But Oculus provides chumps that might be Dreadnoughts. And I did draw a fetch land, which means I can Tamiyo a spell back and play Oculus. Oh, if I get back Force, the Consign beats the Vexing Bauble, and I already have the biggest creature in play. All right. I'm going to get back Force and play Barrogoyf. That's unfortunate because I would love to Oculus here, but I think this is just correct and almost certainly going to win the game. Boring, but fine. Okay, here's the Cursed Mirror. This can become a Barrogoyf or a Fury or a Psychic Frog. I could also just do the Force plus Consign trick. What am I worried about happening if this becomes Fury? I can consign the trigger and then just, I guess they get the initiative and Tamiyo's dead. Do I care about any of those things? If you make your own Barrogoyf, you gain some life, mill some cards, then my Barrogoyf's really good. All right, whatever. I'll just force it. Force that, consign the trigger. What the fuck? It passed priority. Well, okay. I don't know why it just passed priority on the bauble trigger like that. It shouldn't have. Whatever. I have a consign to memory that will keep me from losing the initiative here. I can just trade Barrogoyfs. All right, Pyroblasting my frog doesn't matter. Well, I guess the priority pass might have just saved me, because if I committed multiple cards to getting that force through, and then they just Pyroblasted the force, that's worse. Awkward. All right, whatever. Glad I didn't go with Oculus last turn. That Pyroblast just chilling. Okay, they are attacking me. This is a 5/6. Oh, wait, does Double Strike mean that they would actually get the initiative back twice? And the Stifle doesn't stop it? Okay, I'm blocking the Fury. This will leave them with no board presence, no initiative, fighting Psychic Frog. Okay, counter this trigger. Then, oh, I could have replicated it. Whoops. All right, yeah, I'm just bleeding out now. Just on tilt. It's fine. It's fine. Certainly them looking at 5 cards and digging a creature out of their creature-centric aggro combo deck won't kill me. Oh, good. Broadside Bombardiers, Goblin Rabblemaster, and Caves of Chaos Adventure. All right, that was bad. All right, they got back Caves of Chaos Adventure. This is going to turn back into a mirror. I am going to shake it off and recuperate here. I'll put you in the trap. You're at 9. Frog is good for 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. It's going to be tough to get to 9 here. It's all right. It's all right. I'm not that worried about Caves of Chaos Adventure out of them at this point. They're still in the secret entrance. Ponder, show me the goods. Dreadnought, another Ponder, and Tamiyo. I don't think I want any of these cards. I'll just shuffle that. Fatal Push is great. Frog, get in there. Cause problems. Do your thing. They're at 6. Wasteland. Doesn't matter. I think it's better as frog fodder. It could be used to draw cards with a clue, though. Yeah, maybe I'll use it to draw with clue first. Okay. I could still draw with a clue and Fatal Push with Revolt on their turn. I can make Frog up to 7 toughness. They have Caves of Chaos Adventure and 2 unknowns in the hand. If I lose this game from here, it's definitely going to be my own fault. Adventurer resolves. You can have the initiative back and have a bigger adventurer or select a little bit with Lost Well. Okay, they're going for the big adventurer. They got plans. Built to smash, that's all we do. They end a turn, crack a clue, and Fatal Push with Revolt. Go to my turn. Frog is lethal right now. All right, they're cracking their clue, which taps them out of Pyroblast, which probably means we're safe. Definitely safe with that shit. Okay, crack my clue. We got the GG. All right, that got a little awkward for a minute there, but it's okay. Psychic Frog is still just too damn good. Okay, on to the final round. On the draw in round 5, finally lost to die roll. Positive record is locked. We're playing for the bread and butter 4-1. My hand is fine. There are lands and spells in it. No quick Dreadnought. No specific planning on any specific matchup, but we're just, we're chilling. And if they don't crack this fetch land, we might get a big old punish. Oh yeah. Flooded Strand. Nobody plays around Stifle from a Flooded Strand deck. Oops. Basic Island. Is that the first stifled fetch land of the league in round 5? We'll take it. Gotta get them where we get them. Now I just lose to Tendrils of Agony. And the fetch land was irrelevant. I'm ready. Okay, fetched a basic swamp first. The basic swamp was smart. Okay, I hope they oppo me back. That would only be fair. Forg. Instep. Cycle Troll of Khazad-dûm. That is not Entomb, so I'll take it. They searched another basic swamp, so we've got 2 basic swamps in this deck. And Verdant Catacombs and Marsh Flats. Those are not the fetch lands you play if you're a Harbinger of the Seas deck with an island in it. This might just be mono black scam or some kind of mid-range something or other. I don't think I really want to race a Troll of Khazad-dûm from this position, so that's something. Wall Therapy. Zoinks. Well, please name Force of Will or some shit I don't have. Days. Very macabre. They named Days. We played around it. Okay. If they had just cast Reanimate, that also would have played around Days. Just putting that energy out there into the world in case anyone wants to pick it up. Okay. I don't have to make the frog fly because I could just make it Fugnormous. I'd have to discard 5 cards. 1, 2. All right. You want a frog game with me? I'll frog game with you. You think I won't discard 5 cards? Because I will. Wasteland. Wasteland. Sewers. Island. Brainstorm. Bang. And then another Psychic Frog in play. Pass the turn. Hope that pays out. If they just, like, Fatal Push this now, that's going to be really tough. Unmask, targeting yourself. Oh, no. Are we going to die? They dumped an Atraxa. Okay. Why isn't the hand revealed? Ah, shit. Animate Dead. Okay. That makes sense. Now I have to beat an Atraxa with these 2 Psychic Frogs, but one of them does kill Atraxa in combat. And I can draw Fell right now and be set. I wouldn't have made that line if my hand wasn't just bad. Like, I just discarded 4 lands in a Brainstorm. The Brainstorm hurt a little, but the lands are strongly whatever. Okay, we've got Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, Dance of the Dead, Animate Dead, Cabal Therapy. Oh, there's an Entomb there. That's bad. I didn't see it at first because it's the Amonkhet Invocation. Those are invisible to the human eye. Yeah, we probably lost this game. And I'm not sure that jumping my frog would have changed that. I mean, obviously Brainstorm can change all sorts of stuff. If I just jump the frog, cast Brainstorm, that's the smart and safe thing to do. We stress test for science around here. If they were mono black scam, I'd actually be very happy with my play, but them revealing actual Reanimator as a mode of their deck is tough. And having both the bin and the Reanimate on resources they had access to right then. Therapy, Ritual, Catacombs, Petal, Animate Dead. If they took Dark Ritual, it means they didn't take Entomb. That's interesting. Are they just going to Animate Dead their Troll right now? Oh, they meant to click Grizzlebrand. Oops, yeah, that makes a lot more sense than you would Cabal Therapy yourself, name Grizzlebrand, reanimate it right now. Okay, yeah, they should have a Grizzlebrand in play. Stifle. That does beat the Animate Dead in their hand. Let's see if they want to trade off Atraxa with the big one. Okay, this actually sucks because if I discard the Stifle, then I don't have the answer to Animate Dead anymore. Okay, here we go. I don't have a better plan here. Let's draw another Stifle. Swamp. Shit. Okay. I've probably lost. I'm not going to play the Swamp because they do play discard spells in their deck. I guess I could have just waited a turn. Just don't attack for 1 cycle. Draw a different card next turn. I discard that card. I Stifle the Animate Dead. Then it's Frog versus Dark Ritual and Cabal Therapy in their hand. Yeah, I should have done that. All right, they're therapying me. What do you even name in this position? What do you worry about? Counterspell? I guess you've seen Stifle. Yeah, that plays. So they would have seen a Stifle anyway. If that was the play, then... Oh, and they drew a Tomb on the mystery turn. All right, yeah, you win. Okay. I could have played that game much more carefully than I did, and they had the Brewer's advantage. I wasn't sure what was going on with their mono black mana base. All right, Fairy Macabres, Thoughtseizes, Grafdigger's Cage, Shoulder's Edict. We did see Troll. I don't like edicting things like Grizzlebrand because it's probably too late, but it's fine. We saw Dance of the Dead and Animate Dead. which means the stifles are actually good against multiple of their reanimate effects. And unfortunately, just due to the speed of Legacy, I think this is just another match where this is not what the deck needs to be about. I think Oculus is still fine. Daze is kind of mid. I'm going to respect a juke at least a little bit with some fatal pushes. Do I need to bring in Barrogoyf if I'm juking like this? I could shave a Wasteland for a Barrogoyf and an Oculus for a Barrogoyf. That's a blue card out for Force. I am on the play where Daze is better. I could shave a Tameo. She doesn't actually help me win the game, but I don't need to win the game. I just need to not die for long enough. Okay. This is, I believe, the fastest Legacy format we've had in the modern era. Maybe the Underworld Breach meta for the 5 weeks that card was legal was faster, but most cards that end up banned make the games take longer. Like Oko, Dreadhorde Arcanist, Expressive Iteration. It's normally card advantage that makes a format broken. And while Frog is that, it's also an enabler for a hyper fast combo deck, which means multi-card things like Stifle plus Dreadnought might just be too slow and bad. Speaking of which, I do have a Stifle versus a fetch land here. We'll see how long we could do this dance. All right, the answer was not very. Okay, this resolves. They can't take Fairy Macabre. Maybe I should brainstorm. Actually, I am going to brainstorm here. Because this can hide Edict and Fell. Yeah, if I put back Edict and Fell, or if I put back Fell and Stifle. Yeah, I'm going to put back Fell and Stifle. They can't take Frog, Oculus, or Fairy Macabre here. And if they don't see Stifle, so they don't play around Stifle, Stifle could get them. Maybe I should have left Fell in the hand. Okay, they took the Brainstorm regardless. And played around Stifle all the same. But, as we know, their deck contains cards that care about Stifle. Just on their own. It's not just fetch lands. Okay, now we're kind of in the crap zone. My top card is Fell right now, which I don't want. I'm going to get the Undercity Sewer. Ban a Stifle. I'd love to draw a colored source of mana here. Ponder, okay. They might get me with a Bowmaster Pivot. They did not get me with a Bowmaster Pivot. Fatal Push, Wasteland are pretty bad, but Thoughtseize is really good. Okay, I'll take Thoughtseize. I'll just get a peek at what they're working with over there right now, because they saw Fairy Macabre and couldn't disrupt it. Animate Dead, Reanimate Grizzlebrand. Unmask. And I'm taking Unmask. That's the card that deals with Fairy Macabre and also puts Grizzlebrand in their graveyard, and otherwise they're not really doing anything right now. And next turn I can play Oculus with Stifle up. Here's the Catacomb. Even if this does spike a monster, I have the Macabre. They kept it on top. And I'm not going to Wasteland them. I'm going to use this as mana to get the big ball looking. Okay, I do have to be careful about what I put in the graveyard here. I'm going to manifest Force of Will. As long as I don't accidentally manifest Dread a creature away, it's fine, because that would turn on their 2 animates in their hand. Barrow. In for 7. Yeah, they got a big problem to solve here. I can't tap Basic Island to cast Barrogoyf. Here we go. Oculus. This card is really powerful. It's kind of messed up. There are already sorceries and lands in the graveyard. I will make Ponder into a creature. Put a new twist on winning the game with Ponder. Okay, Thoughtseize. Well, if they drew Entomb exactly, they could probably still win this game. That's annoying. But I could Stifle a Grizzlebrand or a Traxa or Archon Trigger. I can Stifle Animate Dead. And if they cast Reanimate, they're at 1 or 2 life, which means they can't activate Grizzlebrand anyway. And they did draw fucking Entomb. We're having a good time. Okay, do they have a monster that can solve this? The Edict plays around Valgavoth's Ward. Okay, here's the Reanimate. They go to 2. I'm going to Stifle the Atraxa Trigger. And then I can Edict the creature. All right, cool. We had enough resources to just outmuscle that, but that was the 2 unknown cards were Thoughtseize and Entomb. Crazy. Okay. Is Curie better than Barrowgoyf? Barrowgoyf has Death Touch, which means it can tangle with anything. Curie is blue, which means it plays off Force. Curie also comes down earlier and gives me a 4th Ophidian in the deck. There's nothing to copy, but it might just be good enough. I don't think Death Touch and Lifelink are going to be the difference because all of my opponent's creatures also have Lifelink and are way bigger. Okay, here we go. I'm going to make that one change, and otherwise this is my deck. Fairy Macabre holding the line there. Ugh. Force of Will is not enough to beat this deck with no other plan, no other backup. We're going to mulligan. Here we go. I like this one a lot. Keep and bottom. It's probably Consign. Yeah, I'll bottom Consign. That is my other answer to an Animate Dead. Let's see how hard they come out blazing, because I have Macabre and Thoughtseize. Okay, so they can Thoughtseize my Macabre and then set up Reanimation. They could Thoughtseize my Thoughtseize, but then they have to beat Macabre. They took Thoughtseize, setting up a plan to beat Macabre. I am going to put Tamiyo into play and hope I get a turn to operate. It's just so much better if Tamiyo's online to play the game with. Wall Therapy. Fudge. Okay. Well, Macabre's gone. Let's see if they have Land, Dark Ritual, and Tomb Reanimate. Macabre's gone. Glad I stuck my repeating source of card advantage, and now the test is, do I get another turn? They missed their land drop, and I drew Force of Will. Those are good things. I'm just going to fetch Underground Sea and pass. It's suspicious that I didn't cast Ponder, but I'm okay with that. Hopefully it looks like I just wanted to crack my clue, and it doesn't obviously telegraph that I needed a blue card for Force. Frog, we're doing stuff. The plan is starting to form. Tamiyo's in Undercity Sewer. If this sees Fairy Macabre, then I won't cast Frog. Anything else I will cast Frog. All right, Shoulder's Edict on top. Cast the Frog. This makes them do something. Where otherwise they could just fart around until the end of time. That Force on the Entomb is good. But we know their hand is all spells. Do they have a second wave right now? Or do I get to Frog for a while? Unmask me. Okay, that's better than unmasking yourself in this position. Strip the Ponder. They knew that was my last card. They saw that off the Thoughtseize on turn 1. I'm drawing Edict. A Tamiyo trigger and a Frog connection here. The Wasteland's actually good, because now I can crack this clue, flip Tamiyo without giving up Edict. Is Ponder better than Edict? How important is Edict actually? And Ponder can hit so many 1-mana pieces of interaction here, like Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, I'm slamming that shit into play. Starting to get the hooks in. They're going to need to beat a sticky piece of permission, and they can't. All right, nice. A 4-1 record. Lost round 1 and then rallied. This deck definitely feels strong. Unfortunately, it is hard to tell whether this deck is strong because of Dreadnought or in spite of it, because a common sideboard plan was cut the Dreadnoughts and just play Psychic Frog blue-black midrange. The Dreadnought did come up big in one Red Stompy matchup, where I was able to shrug off a Blood Moon and just kill them on turn 3, or turn 4. Well, I scooped on turn 2, but it would have been a turn 4 actual win. The Dreadnought coming out of Abhorrent Oculus does end the game on the spot in the next combat step, versus, like, attacking for 17 is a lot more than attacking for 7. Like, that's just math. Obviously, one number is bigger than the other, but 17 is a huge hit. And if you're doing that, it's insane. But if you have resolved Abhorrent Oculus and you're manifesting Dread, does it matter that there's a 12-12 under there? We never got to do the Curie thing. Part of it was just because of the league that we were served being so combo heavy that this just turned out to be the weakest thing. Curie did draw a card in this league, though, just as Curie, just as Psychic Frog number 4. It's a very generous assessment of Curie. Over more games, I imagine that gets more interesting. I don't know what the right number of that is. It being blue is very nice. Obviously, Frog and Tamiyo are good cards together. Wasteland Days, Stifle Gaming still has some appeal to it. Yeah, I don't know if I can endorse this deck over just Frog Tempo or over Tempo Reanimator. because the core is the same, and the payoff in this build is Phyrexian Dreadnought, and sometimes I get to Stifle Your Land, versus Archon of Cruelty, and sometimes I get to win games immediately, or flip nut draws into games that I was losing and now I'm winning. And this one's much more fair, though it still has some awkward cards in it. Yeah, it's just a tough beat for every other deck in the tempo space. If you're not reanimating, you need a really good reason to. But if you are into Phyrexian Dreadnought as an archetype, and that's just the type of gamer you are, and you're looking for a good shell to hold it, I can endorse this for that. This felt really awesome. The backup monsters, the Abhorrent Oculus, seemed better than Null Drifter. Curie seemed better than Doorkeeper Thrall. Obviously, Psychic Frog is better than any other creature you could play. I will leave it there. Harain, nice job designing this deck. 93, thanks for asking me to play it. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out cardtrader.com. Check out my Patreon. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.